Welcome everybody to the 7th episode of Catch My Riff. I'm your host Devin Canfield, and today's episode we are sitting down with the band Stablemate, and instead of me doing a million takes over to try and make sure that I can say this stuff right, I'm just gonna say it straight up. I found these guys on Instagram, and I think their music is awesome. I had to stop myself there because I was gonna curse. But yes, we're going to listen to their 3 singles that they have out currently, and the band is setting out to release their first official LP, their first official record, on November 27th, which you can hear on all major streaming platforms. Check them out on Instagram at Stablemate, and if you dig their music and you like their music, follow them, hit them up, tell them that the music is sick, because all of these independent artists that come onto this show, you have no idea how much it affects and impacts their music if people start to follow them on their pages and follow them on their Spotify accounts and YouTube and everything like that. And especially if you enjoy the music, support these artists, all artists, and let them know that their music means something to you. So let's jump into one of the singles. This next song is called Invisible Thread, which will be featured on their new record, Shapeless. And once again, this is Stablemate.
Children, my lovely, I'm afraid it's too late. It seems the distance is just too great, and I know you're tangled, invisible thread, just pulling on the promise that you'll stay. Hold still my
haven't played anything to us. It's not like we saw you at a show, but
Yeah. We could be total shit and you wouldn't even know it.
yeah, right? It's like this is a freaking farce, dude.
Speaking of shit.
There we go.
Got the bike.
Sorry about that, boy.
You got the
Some
stash?
slight
Oh,
technical
God.
difficulty. What's
What
up,
were you
dude?
doing?
Can you guys hear me?
Not really.
Daniel's in the fucking car.
Well, he was in the woods a minute ago, so he's making baby steps.
Nice work, dude. Where are you hiking at, Daniel?
I was hiking by the American River.
American River. I don't know where that is. Is
Yeah.
that in Sac?
Yeah, not too far from Roseville, California, in a small suburb called Fair
I
Oaks.
know Roseville.
City of Dreams.
City of Dreams. Yeah, dude, you got is that an SM7?
Yeah, you're looking at it, dude. We used it for the San Francisco video.
Dude, you're
With the
you are
arm and
really
everything.
a podcaster.
Well, guys, welcome to Catch My Riff. Really excited to have Stablemate on today.
Really, really good band. Such a good band. Here they are.
Dude, Mitch, you missed basically our state conversation. So I'm going to ask you, what do you think the least populated state in the country is?
Wyoming.
Woo!
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Let's go.
You,
Let's
you
go.
definitely looked that up.
You could see me. I did not look it up. I knew that.
You definitely did not look that up. That's what's insane.
No, there's no major cities in Wyoming. Jackson Hole,
Cheyenne.
Lander. Cheyenne is a city, but I wouldn't say it's a largely populated city. No, that's just, what did you say, Connor?
I said Rhode Island.
That's a good guess, but
Daniel said California.
No, he
No,
said
I
Oregon.
said Oregon. I knew.
you said Oregon. No, dude.
He said Rhode Island, but I already picked it.
And Anna, what'd you pick? Texas?
Vermont.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Vermont, yeah.
Vermont was second. Vermont was
Yeah, that was
solid.
close. That was close.
Those are, yeah, Vermont's definitely the best one there. Not really close. Here, let me make sure my audio is coming through my microphone.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you could turn it up a little bit, that would be sick.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Yo, what do you think the most populated state, or not most populated, what do you think the biggest based on square mile or just, no people, what's the biggest state in America?
Texas.
Wait, like most open land, or
Yeah, it's like that's just the size based on, I think it's square
square
mile.
mile?
I think that's what it was, yeah. You said, wait, Daniel, what'd you say?
Probably Texas or Alaska.
Am I coming in better
What do
now?
you think? Hell yeah, that's a lot better.
Perfect.
That's clear and clear, my guy.
Yeah, what? So, Mitch, what are you thinking?
What Daniel said, Texas?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go with the dark horse, and I'm just going to hammer Alaska.
Alaska it is.
Yes, dude! I'm a freak!
You're like low-key a geography expert.
I am actually, yeah. I love trivia, and I think my best is probably geography, probably geo.
Hell no, dude. I would fuck
I
you
would,
up in geo.
like, Connor. I already have fucked you up in geography today. We're right here. It's happening.
It's happening. We don't talk music here. We talk geography trivia.
Yeah. You're a better singer, but I will fuck you up in geography, dude.
Doesn't sit right with me.
Now that we're all here, thank you guys for doing this, taking this time, talking some geography, talking some Wyoming and Alaska. I didn't know those either, to be honest, that those were the states that they were. But for real, thank you guys for doing this.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, stoked.
Excited.
Really stoked to be here.
So I kind of asked you guys some questions before when we were getting started up, but where are you guys all from?
Texas.
Yeah, I'm from like an hour south of Seattle, a little town called Gig Harbor, Washington.
Nice. And for anyone listening, this is how this geography stuff came to be. Prior to us going live, we were like, oh, where are you from? Where are you from? And then we just started looking up I started looking up just God only knows what about the United States of America. But Mitch, how about you, man?
Yeah, I'm also Connor and I grew up together, so I'm from Gig Harbor as well.
Nice. And then Daniel joined our conversation out in the woods, mid-walk, and he's here with us now.
That's right. Yeah, I'm from Sacramento, California.
Well, you guys are doing some awesome stuff with your music. I was kind of saying this prior as well. I found you guys on Instagram, and I think you're like a perfect example of like the modern musician, and you it seems like you have some knowledge about the approach to releasing stuff, how to promote your music, market it right. Because like Instagram is flooded, dude, flooded with musicians, ads, and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, you're one of the few that it caught my attention first and foremost, and I'll tell you why. The art caught my attention, right?
Yeah.
The cohesiveness between the singles, I'm like, that's the cash. Like, that's awesome. And then the kicker, which is the most important part, the music was good.
Yeah, that's an important factor.
That's the most important factor. So how did you guys start learning about like releasing music, or, you know, when it came time where you had to sit back and look at the strategy, you know, where did you guys start with like obtaining that knowledge?
Yeah, I think you have to go way back when we first started, even before we recorded anything. And Mitch and I and Anna were kind of talking about going to Sacramento, where Daniel is, and recording. All we wanted to do was record music and just make, you know, shit that we love. And it's something that we've been wanting to do. And that's all we cared about, was making it. And then once we made the music and we listened back to it, you know, I remember like looking at Mitch or looking at Anna and Daniel, like, dude, this shit's actually kind of good. Like, you know, when we really started like caring about it and researching like the correct way to do it, asking Daniel, who's been in bands, asking our producer Drew Owens, like, what's the right way to do this? And it's funny that you say that we're knowledgeable in it, because, which is a huge compliment, because I was lost in the beginning of it, and I still feel kind of like lost, but yeah, just really doing a lot of research and looking at other bands too, and seeing like, oh, is this band successful? What are they doing right? You know, if I see an ad, I get all music ads in my IG because the algorithm just gives it to me all day long. So I see like, oh, this doesn't really work, or, oh, this is working really well. And in the end, I kind of just adapted from the ones that I liked and found a great artist. Hannah did, and it really worked with the music, and it just felt right, and it's working pretty well.
I agree. And the biggest thing, like, what's your view on, and this is just kind of for anybody, like when we say like the marketing aspect of things, you know, what in your like viewpoint is like the whole package when it comes to like, let's even like look at a single, like where do you start even thought wise, where, you know, do you say, oh, we need good, like, is it conscious in your mind? Like, we need good art. We need a good single cover. Like, cause you guys have a very clear, cohesive product, you know. Was that super, super intentional? And I mean, it must've been, but what's your kind of take on that?
It was definitely intentional. I mean, like, I think we all got together, and I took notes, like, okay, what colors do I like? What colors work well together? What kind of reflects the sound, you know what I mean? And like a teal came to my mind, and I started with a teal and then kind of worked from there. I've always really liked teal, and I feel like it, I don't know, it works well with the music. And then from there, I found a good artist, and she listened to the songs while making all that. And it feels all tight and cohesive. So
you reached out to an artist like that you knew and just said, hey, check this song out and make something from it?
Yeah, we went to school in Pensacola for the Navy with someone else, and we both do photography, so I follow her pretty closely on Instagram and keep up with her. And I think she started off with just drawings, and she's really big into that when I first met her, and then branched off to photography, videography. So he actually asked her first if she would record our music video. And then we started asking her about artwork, and what she thought would flow. So she kind of was the one who like came up with all these different designs for us of what she felt when she listened to the music as well. And we kind of just put our little inputs in as to what we fully wanted. So it was a pretty cool process.
So I even want to kind of start over again. So, Connor, you're vocalist and guitars?
Yes, sir. Vocalist, guitarist.
And then Anna, you sing as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mitch, you're on the 6th string, and then Dan's on the skins?
On the skins.
Now, what's kind of your like foundational points for your guys' music where you're getting started off? Like, why are you guys, outside of just your love for playing music, like what motivates you guys? And honestly, Mitch, I'll ask you, being the guitarist, like kind of, you know, laying a lot of this stuff down, like, and then you guys can come in as well. But like, what's your, like what's motivating this, like the message you guys are getting across? And the sound more so, because the sound has a lot of weight to it.
I think the sound, I don't really know, you know, what motivates it, but I feel like, especially because, you know, Connor and I have been doing this together for so long, and then it was such a collaborative experience in the studio with Daniel, and then working with Daniel's older brother is Drew Owens, who produced the music. And so Connor and I had this kind of like years of life and music and build up that sort of ended up creating an influence, of course, you know, from the other artists that we both listen to and the other artists that we share and love, and has had, you know, Anna has brought in artists as well, and then we've kind of like fused that all together into the sound being what it is. So I think you know, the motivator behind the sound is totally just kind of one, experience growing musically, and then also just experience growing in life, and, you know, going from knowing Connor since I was in 6th grade, and then now being 26 and going through all of that, I think that has kind of an aggregating effect that ends up, you know, hopefully making music that has some kind of weight behind it.
Now, like for Anna and Connor, for you guys, like singing wise, like where are you pulling a lot of like your lyrical like inspiration from?
It's a good question. Lyrics and going back to the origins and the motivation too, is just when Mitch and I grew up in writing music together. We went apart when he went to college, and I had shitty grades, so I'm like, fuck, what am I gonna do? And then I joined the Navy. Ended up being in the Middle East somewhere in a boat, and started writing these songs. Language was the first one I remember it very vividly. Just writing the lyrics, you know, in the boat in the dead of night where you can't really see shit outside, and you're just in the middle of nowhere, no idea where you're at. And I most of the time I write the guitar parts first, but the lyrics kind of came to me first for some reason throughout most of the album. And as far as inspiration for lyrics, it's a lot of subconscious stuff. I mean, I'll start off just like doing random words until the vowels kind of start to sit right. But I mean, I've drawn from a lot of influences. Some of my favorite lyricists of all time are like Neutral Milk Hotel has some great lyrics. Conor Oberst always had some great lyrics. I kind of went into the singer-songwriters to kind of see what they were talking about, and see if it resonated with me, and then trying to dig in my own subconscious to get it out, and it's out.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy. What was it like being in the Middle East like that? That's a kind of a crazy way to gather some insight into like or writing lyrics like that, you know?
Yeah, it was definitely nuts. I mean, Mitch and I, when he was off to college, and then he actually drove down to Argentina from Seattle while I was out here doing this. So we were off just splitting paths, and Anna was still in California. Didn't even meet Daniel yet. But being out there there's nothing else like it, man. It was insane. I mean, it was some of the worst times. I guess there were some good times in there, but really a lot of time to think and just sort of ruminate on things about how you feel, about what you want to do when you get back home. You know what I mean? I was out there for like 6 months. So and there's no like internet connection really, so you're just in there, you know, you got to find some shit to do. So I wanted to write 10 songs and write some lyrics, so when I got back, you know, we could hit the ground running and start this thing again.
Damn.
I mean, we didn't even know we were going to start it again. You know, it was just like I was driving in my car through South America. Connor was in the Middle East recording these demos, and then he was sending them to me. And I've always, you know, loved the music that Connor makes. But with this stuff, I was like, oh, like, dude, you might have really tapped into something here. Like, this is pretty amazing. And so it happened really, really organically that we started playing together, you know, a lot more seriously again, because there was a huge lull in between while I was in college when Connor was starting up in the military. And then it came back really, really organically from those demos that Connor was sending. And they were, you know, the quality was really crappy, but I just remember driving and just blasting, you know, one of the songs on our album is called Evergreen. And I just remember just blasting that song and being like, man, I absolutely love this song. This song is so good. And it was just a voice memo, you know, and you could hear like the of like the engine, and it was terrible. But I loved the song. And now that song's actually on the album, like that song as it is. Pretty
Without
much.
the engine.
Yeah, no, there's some
There
noises.
is a submarine. There's a submarine.
There is a submarine. Yeah.
And this is Evergreen?
Yeah, it's what is it? Track 7?
Track 7, baby. 4 minutes and 20 seconds long.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go. You said that like there was like some bad times, like some scary times. Can you recall one that's not a average perspective, you know, for people that are deployed in the Navy to head out to the Middle East? Like, I'm kind of ignorant to obviously that in a way, but like, do you recall a time and that was put you on edge or something?
I mean, there's a few times when stuff kind of happens, but I mean the general feeling and emotion is just like you don't know like what's really gonna happen. You don't really know exactly how long you're gonna be there.
Just like constantly anxious and stressed out all the time.
Right, and I'm sitting here too. I apologize. You were in the Navy as well. Now, were you in the Middle East as well?
No, I started out. I was in Japan for a year, and so I was mainly hanging out in like China Sea by like North Korea.
You say, see if you liked it?
Oh no, no.
Do you like it?
No, yeah, it sounded like you were like, I'm trying to see if I liked it. I was like, oh man.
Because we got to get in front of that if you like it.
No, I was by the South China Sea by North Korea most of the time when I was in Japan. So you just like when you're out there, you just have this feeling of like loneliness and just you never know what's going to happen. So you don't have like consistency in your life. You can't really de-stress. So, you know, you're stuck in like a tin can in the middle of nowhere. And like Connor said, you barely get any internet service. So it's hard to keep up with friends and family. You can't really talk about what you're doing or where you are. So it's just a lot of stress.
I can only imagine. And when you were writing, did you have a guitar with you?
Yeah, I had a little traveler with me. But that's kind of why I did the lyrics first. It started off kind of like some sort of loose poetry or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Get some sort of a concept and put some music behind it, and then it kind of shifts from there. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, writing those songs, that feeling of anxiety, and I think it comes across in some of the music, like the sort of the anxious but like profound feeling as well when you're out there by yourself. So.
And what was the song you said that you had written out there was it Language?
Yeah, Language. I do vividly remember that was like the first one that I kind of wrote out lyrically. I didn't have a piano there, and most of it's on keys, so I came back and then it kind of just fell into place really quickly.
Off their first record, Shapeless, this is Language by Stablemate.
if I just pull this thread. What did I know then? What do I know now? Language from within, lips creasing to a grin. But my eyes are pale on what I could have done. What can I do now? The creature that they are is the creature we've all become. Oh, I've become overrun by everything you've ever said. We'll all be shapeless if I just pull this thread.
You know, a lot of people write music and in so many different ways, but this is the first time I've heard, you know, someone writing it on a Navy ship, that's for sure. Now, for your guys' music video shoot, where did you guys shoot the music video for Language?
We went to Joshua Tree and the Glamis Sand Dunes, which is in the middle of nowhere, like 2 hours like southwest or southeast of California, San Diego. Yeah. It was rough. It was really hot.
Yeah, the same girl Elise who did the artwork did the video, like we were saying. So she's kind of our like ace in the hole.
Shout out Elise.
Yes.
To Elise.
Yeah, shout out Elise.
That's a pretty sick. That's a pretty sick name too, Elise. Yeah, I've never met an Elise before.
Oh yeah, she wears it well.
Amen. So in Language and even a couple of the other songs, I hear like some tempo changes. Like I remember first hearing that song in particular, and just a great choice to like bring that intro in and then jump right into the kind of tempo change.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that
Good
all
call.
Thanks. That all really, it wasn't really my call at all. I mean, I had the song with no drums or anything like that, so it all was like fluid. But then when Daniel sat down on the throne, you know, things changed. And I remember like this is the first song we ever recorded was Language, and we finally got to the studio, you know, sleeping in an RV out back, and we were so excited to get in there. And we laid out the song, and then Daniel comes in, and he starts just playing that little, you know, groove on the hi-hats. And, you know, we heard it, we were like sitting there in Mission 9 and we're looking at each other like, holy shit. This shit might actually like slap him. But
It was insane. Took him like 5 minutes. Definitely the best musician in the band.
Oh, for sure. And Daniel would be playing it and he has his face like, how was that? You know, it's Like, yeah, it's pretty good. Dude. Yeah, that'll
That
work.
was perfect.
Did you change anything? No, just like that's it.
So that was just in the spot then? Like all the drums and everything? Like you hadn't heard the song with drums yet?
No, I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Oh, he just dropped.
Oh, we just lost Daniel.
Daniel's
We'll
Daniel's
talk
going for a walk.
We'll talk.
He's
He
going for
probably,
another walk.
hung up when we started.
He's got to
talking
get
good
his third
about it.
mile in.
He's probably starting to feel uncomfortable. Oh yeah, he's
That's it.
booking more Woods time. I like that. Yeah, no. Daniel had never heard any drums. We didn't have almost any idea what we wanted for drums, especially on that song, because we didn't even know Daniel. Daniel was just the studio drummer because he's Drew's brother, and so he came in and just absolutely blew our minds, just completely blew us
And he
away.
did that for like every song too.
Every
He
single
would
song.
just like listen to
And
it
it-
on the spot and just, take it
Yeah.
away from there.
Yeah. And then, but his brother Drew, who's the producer, whatever Daniel played, like it was always just way beyond our expectation. And then his brother Drew, who's the producer of the album, would just push him and push him and push him and push him. And we'd be like, Drew, it's good. Like we're good. It's done. Like that's perfect.
Oh shit, he's back. Stop talking shit.
Here he comes. Sorry about that. Lost
Just talking
connection
about
for
how
a second.
amazing you are, Daniel. Want to add on to that?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
how do
I
you
agree.
how do you pull that off? Like how long have you been playing drums to the point, or like have you been around music your whole life where you feel you can just hear something right off the bat and dive in to be like that intuitive with it? Have you been playing for a long time?
Yeah, I've been playing drums for about, I guess in total, 13 years. And my brother was definitely a huge influence who, as I said, recorded and produced a record. And he's actually 10 years older than me. So he was always in bands. He plays guitar and sings and does keys and whatnot. And I always just thought that was like the coolest thing ever. So originally I wanted to play guitar, and I asked my dad if I could get guitar lessons, and he said, everyone plays guitar, you should play something else. So I chose drums.
So I picked up
The final
baseball.
bill.
So I picked up baseball,
Yeah.
croquet, curling.
No, yeah, sports never worked in my favor. So drums was something that I really gravitated towards and was into. And then I got really serious about drums in high school. I started studying with this incredible drummer named Joe Arrington, who has played for a bunch of bands, but the one that drew me in was a band called A Lot Like Birds. And his drumming was just incredible to me. And then I got into doing drums more professionally, like session work, when I was around 18. And that's when I started working with my brother on a professional level. And as far as writing the parts for this record, it was different than other experiences I've had. Like originally I was just a session drummer for this band, and I would get to hear the songs either the day of or the day before. And so the drum parts came together really quickly. But it worked out. Like I played on a fair amount of records and EPs, and I guess one compliment I've gotten a lot is playing intuitively, and I've learned a lot from what my brother said that he hates about drummers, which a lot of the time is like overplaying. So just tried to serve the songs, and yeah, really loved coming up with the parts.
Hell yeah, Jesus. Knowing that that's kind of what happened is pretty crazy. Like, so is most of the record then just kind of on the spot composition? Like that wasn't where you guys had sat down for a while and planned it out. It was just kind of like, hey,
as far as the drums go, man, we just like Daniel would just get tossed in there and be like, Drew would be like, let's run a full take, see what happens.
But so much like the drums were the most on the spot by far, but so much of it happened. Like the bridge in Language, totally on the spot, all Drew. Like just came out of nowhere, and it was like our first day, and we had a different bridge. And then Drew was like, "What if we wrote in?" Yeah, what if we wrote a key change and like he busted out this synth, started playing it, and Connor and I were like, dude, that is the coolest, that is the sickest thing I've ever heard. Like, yes, hell yes. And a lot of the whole record went that way. But Daniel in particular, I mean, dude, I don't know how you do it. I really don't. It's so sick.
I mean, from a drummer too. I mean, there's that. I mean, that's a huge level of like production knowledge too. And it sounds like your brother was a big influence in the kind of, you know, shaping like your music knowledge.
Definitely.
For language, Connor, like what is that song about to you? Because I don't know, even the first line, like language of the light, money. It's money. Hook line.
So
Cash
funny,
money.
dude. You are so funny, Connor. Let's go.
Yeah. Can you kind of like, what is the language of the light? Like, and knowing that you were in the middle of a boat, just kind of like, I got to hear what that's kind of about.
Yeah, it's a really good question, and unfortunately, I don't have an awesome answer for you. But like I said, I didn't really try to think about like the song conceptually. I would just kind of like I said, there's some profound and anxious feelings that you feel when you're rocking back and forth out there for months at a time, and I just try to tap into it and write down whatever came to my mind, or if I close my eyes, you know, at night before I go to bed, and just spill it out. And if there's like, you know, there's tons of lines that I ended up just saying, that's fucking stupid, like let's get rid of that. But there's some good ones, like, you know, the language of the light, you just kept it in there. And I can't say that it just like it means something specific, but I don't know, I was just more attracted to like the feeling that it gave me. It felt like spot on, like that's how I'm feeling, you know, like there's some sort of language that I hear or see but I don't fully understand, and it makes me anxious, and just kind of dive into it from there, and just, like I said, excavate as much as I can from that feeling.
Mitch, what are you feeling musically for the guitar there? You know, it's like the music has definitely like a vibe to it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Dude, Connor wrote that part.
So what's where are you like kind of in that song? Was that something like, was that all you, Connor, for that?
No, Mitch is definitely involved in the process.
I instigated the changing of the bridge. I would call myself a producer on that song because Connor wrote and played on the track. That's all Connor. That's not me.
Nice.
Like I didn't touch a guitar in that song. And so definitely my role, and honestly for a lot of the record, was like kind of in, and it grew and grew and grew. But when we first went in, Connor was like, let's just do this. I have like all of this music to do. And, you know, it grew into more, but especially at the very beginning, like we didn't know what it was going to be. We didn't know where it was going to go. We didn't know how it was going to look. We didn't even know how we were going to use the time, right? Or how efficiently we needed to be working. And especially for that song, I mean, that song, like Connor brought that song to me, and it, thank God he did, because it's an incredible song. And no, so, I mean, I just love the song, man. I was a supporter of the song. I love the song.
There were a few songs like that I already had, like maybe like three that were just like, I had the package, you know, it wasn't all fleshed out, but I was like, I got the core and go from there. But a lot of the like later on in the record, like definitely it increasingly became like super collaborative, which is way better like way to write and just bounce ideas off each other.
So how was like, what's the deal with like San Francisco? Honestly, I think that's my favorite. San Francisco kills me, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's what I find like on repeat. The bridge in particular, like the higher falsettos and stuff. The guitar in the beginning, crisp, like once again, just like crispy clean. Can you give some insight on San Francisco? Whoever, and you know where that kind of came to be. Everyone's role in that too.
That's another pure Connor. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Drew found the tone for it, and the crispy tone. But yeah, man, that song was kind of tough. It changed quite a bit. like lyrically and melodically, like all the melodies used to be different. And then I think I wrote the lyrics of that song on the airplane ride over to Sacramento to get to Drew's. Like just listening to the instrumental in my headphones, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, here's some. And then you just like write all the lyrics and stuff. I think it's like a 2-hour flight, so I kind of like wrote at least like 2/3 of it on the way over. I think it was one of the last ones that we actually tracked vocals for. And the falsetto thing came, which wasn't there in the beginning. And I was listening to I think on the plane ride over, I was listening to a lot of Pine Grove, and I was listening to a lot of Bon Iver. So I kind of like did a Pine Grove Bon Iver baby vocal thing there, and it worked out. It sounds great. It's probably one of the most like upbeat, I guess, poppy-ish ones on the record. For the most part, we're pretty much sad kids and stay with the sad kid tunes, but that one is a little bit more upbeat.
Yeah, that was one that Connor brought in that I didn't like when we started it. That was probably one of the only ones that I didn't like when we started it, and I didn't know what to do with it. And then it grew and grew and grew, and we kind of sat on it. And maybe that song took the longest of all of them to get completely finished, but I never would have thought it would have ended up being our second single when we first started working on it. And then by the end, it was a no-brainer. We were like, it has to be San Francisco, because it ended up, just powerful, and the tempo changes that are in it. And I love that song.
Well, before anything, I just realized that Daniel, you're driving everywhere right now. Dude, you are on the move today.
Yeah, where are you going now?
Walking, driving.
I'm going home. Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's all good. I'm just messing with you. Mitch, what didn't you like about the song at first?
I mean,
trust me, I feel sometimes with music, even like you can have something and you're like, I don't know. And then just something ends up changing. But are you a fan of it now? Like, did it grow to?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I love it now. Yeah, no, I love it now. I'm not going to power rank our singles right now for me, but
ESPN, we're here for the power rankings of the singles.
I'm going to go with
it's Stephen A.
San
Smith.
Francisco
San Francisco
one.
is the best.
No, I don't think that's a hot take. I think I don't know.
We're Shannon Sharp Stephen A. We're Skip.
Of our 3 favorite singles, what does Stephen A. like the most?
What's Stephen A. like?
Yeah.
San Francisco, no question.
I agree with that. No
what
question.
About Skip Bayless?
No
What's Skip Bayless thinking?
Skip is such
he probably hates the whole thing.
such a No, I think Skip fucks with the invisible thread, dude, because he's tangled up in that invisible thread, especially right now. So he's working it out. No, I just didn't think it had like it when Connor brought it. Just didn't feel like a Stablemate song. It just didn't have anything that like stood out to me that caught me as us, that I felt like was relatable. And as it started to grow and change and become more us, then I started to love it. And now when it was done, I think that something, that made it end up being a single is Connor had like one of his best vocal performances. I don't know where he transported himself to, but wasn't hitting the jewel as much as he was the day before or something. And so it was just so nice. It just sounded so much better. And so, it's just a song that grew a lot from me not liking it. And like, I had to tell Drew, like kind of secretly, I was like, Drew, I don't really think this is good. We were like, how do we tell Connor?
How did you tell him? Did you write him like a ransom note or something?
No, I'm actually incredibly mean. I'm incredibly mean to Connor through the process. So very straightforward, I'm sure. Yeah.
Dude, doing vocals in general in a studio is like one of the most like humbling experiences in your life. You got like 3 people just staring daggers at you through the glass.
You gotta turn the lights off.
Turn the lights off. You look back. You did the take. You're about ready to cry. You got some candles lit. You're like, that was it, man. And you got people on the other side of the glass like flat, running.
Yeah. Like,
dude, Drew loves me in the box though. He loves me in the booth. Drew eats it up when I'm in the booth.
Go to.
One take Mitch.
Go to. One take Mitch.
So what songs are you singing on in this record, Mitch? Are you doing any main vocals, or do you do like harmonies, or?
I sing the last song on the record.
These are closer. Yeah, we bring them in the ninth. It's a great song, man. I'm so excited for you to hear it. Like, out of all the songs,
Me too,
and I know we can't like listen to it right now, but of
too.
all the songs in the record, like,
Yeah, it's just,
I was the most excited about it. Probably because I wasn't like involved as much in writing it, so I could actually like sit down on the couch and like just watch it unfold. And man, it was so fun. Mitch was in the studio. He was feeling it. And I think he was hitting the Jewel a little bit more. He was amping it up. He took his shirt off at one point, and he was feeling himself, man. It's a great song. Right. Anna also has a song on the record where she sings. So Mitch has a song where he does vocals 100% of the time, and Anna has a song where she does vocals 100% of the time, and they're both awesome.
Anna, what song is that going to be?
Is it? What's the official title?
I guess we have to decide.
Strawman.
That's a pretty sick name. Because I was going to say, right now, I'm kind of like, we're talking about this record, and it's kind of secretive right now, and I'm excited. Like, I'm stoked to hear what this is,
Awesome.
and hear these songs. So, Strawman, you said it's called?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not sure of the placement on the record, but yeah, Connor came up with 8 songs and
7.
7. There we go. Connor came up with 8 of the songs and was just like, I need 2 more. Mitch, Anna, you got it. So we each like kind of took our own time and wrote our own little feelings out on paper, and there you go.
Nice. And Anna,
brought in the clothes.
Anna, are you like writing like instrument, like music stuff as well? Like, do you play anything at all, or are you just focused on the like vocal aspects of things?
I know.
That completely broke up. I'm so sorry to say it to you.
I know basic chords on the guitar, so that's kind of how it started. I was just playing like these 4 basic ass chords over and over again and trying to come up with lyrics to them. Then Connor kind of took the guitar and was like coming up with this different strum pattern and picking, and it was really cool. There's banjo in there, Daniel's in there again on the spot. We're just like, I think we had a debate, like, should we put drums in here or no? And I was like, you can put drums in anything. Let's see where it goes.
I didn't want it, and they wanted it. And then as soon as Daniel got in there and did it, I was like, that's way better.
You guys have a very like unique kind of way of like going about the writing process, it seems. So like, do you start bare bones just on a guitar, and then since this is your first record and everything, but yeah, does it all start bare bones on a guitar?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it varies, but I'd say generally speaking, for this record, like I said, a lot of it was lyrics first, which is super rare. Like, I almost never do that. I don't do that anymore. It's kind of a situational thing that occurred. But now, yeah, most of the time, just like a guitar or on the keys, and you just kind of go from there. Try and find a melody over the top. Be good.
That's insanely tough, I feel like, to write. I don't know, or I've heard even from a lot of like artists that I'll listen to or like watch interviews or something, and they're like, yeah, I wrote all the lyrics first. So you would have the lyrics and you would just make the melodies off those words for a lot of these songs?
Yeah, like, trust me, it wasn't like the melodies were there, really.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like a bunch of cool, like I said, loose poetry, and then finding cool chord progressions, and then auditioning that loose poetry out over the top, and then going from there.
Mitch, how do you write vocal melodies yourself? Like, are you the same type of thing? Like, do you?
No, I am not the same type of thing. No, I write a lot of the time. I write like all at once, like like this, like just going right.
Uh-huh.
And I sort of think that works well. It's definitely the most natural way, is to just kind of be fluid with it. But yeah, Connor and I really right. And now, when this record started, I barely wrote music, and now I write music all the time. And so I'm still, growing into my songwriting thing. But I think some big benefits for songwriters to write them in a way like Connor does is that, especially guitar players, you can just get so easily locked into your same kind of, you know, rhythmic chord progressions, and your melodies can just kind of walk through the notes that are actually within the chords itself. And I think that kind of limits you. And then when you sort of piece it together in the way that Connor did, particularly, I sort of wish I did that. I did it more like that, but you know, I just takes a lot of practice to get there. And so yeah, I write like a chord progression first and then write lyrics, or it all comes out.
That's crazy. That's an interesting way to think about it, you know, to think how it's almost like a test to yourself, to even just experimenting, you know, writing the lyrics
Yeah,
first.
I mean,
because I've never really done that myself either. Honestly.
I would not recommend it. I don't do it anymore.
But it worked though in these situations for you guys, and from my personal opinion, it's like it shows that it can be done, and it's worth experimenting with, you know.
Yeah, I think if you do it like that, like you write different melodies, like it's the way, you know, you write different melody than maybe you would like purely organically sitting in your bed with your guitar. Like it's going to change. It's going to be different than whatever kind of your initial natural inclination was to do. And obviously, you know, there's no right or wrong way, but I think it brings in like a whole new perspective for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so too. The last single you guys have, Invisible Thread, Mitch, when I was talking to you the one day, that has kind of like it's got a very groovy bridge in it, a bit like a big instrumental part.
The outro.
Yeah, dude, that's again awesome. And Dan's killing it on still mobile, but still killing. Dan's mobile right now, fluent like he is in the studio, it sounds like. But yeah, can you give us some insight into Invisible Thread? Definitely kind of the more space. Remind me of Circa Survive. And now it's funny because Connor, you had said like you're a big Circa fan. The guitars remind me of Circa Survive a lot in that song.
Yeah, I think I drew a little bit from Circa there. I mean, their guitars are always super slippery, you know, and I always love that. So
yeah, it's a good word for it, slippery. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was this little slippery riff. It was totally disconnected from Invisible Thread, but I always had that little riff, and I kind of just slapped it on there. And then once Daniel hit the groove on that, we were locked in. Yeah, Anna's part at the end of it is gorgeous, and I really wanted her to sing an outro to a song, and I think it fit right there, and it was kind of eerie, you know, while also being awesome. Groovy at the same time. It's pretty cool.
It's a great combination.
That song's nostalgic too. We took this whole record's nostalgic.
In what way?
Well, I don't know. It just feels really like when I listen to it, I guess I could just hear so much of like Connor and my old band and so much of the music that we made before in it. And I mean, literally like that lyric, it seems the seasons only move to why am I forgetting it right now? It seems
the interest of time.
The interest of time. And that was from like Connor wrote that in high school. And then we just brought it back. You know, I think those are some of the special moments. But man, that groovy part, especially when Daniel comes in on that beat, and then it's just the guitar and the drums, and they're just sitting in there in the pocket, and then Anna comes in, and then the bass comes in, then they bring in the keys on like basically the third iteration. I love the way that outro builds, and it's all on Daniel's foundation, really. But it's awesome.
Daniel spit the good word. What was it from your perspective hearing that? Because Mitch, you had said when we had talked one time, you were saying it wasn't like that either. You said you kind of unfolded that one as it came along, right?
Oh yeah, more or less. I mean, the way that it was before, in the first mix, it was shorter, and then I wanted it to be longer, so we had more of that guitar and drum part. So we made that basically like 2 measures longer, as it was, because for a while when we just had that part of that song in the rough, it was only like the first 2 verses and then the choruses, and we didn't have any vocals over the outro, so all we had was just that, basically like that drum groove and the guitar. And I would just sit there and listen to that in my car and be like, yes, like just feeling it. And so when that went away and it was shortened, I was like, no, we got to bring that back, because it's such a moment. It's such a, like, you really can just, I don't know, I bought my head to it every single time it happens. Especially when Daniel first comes in with that first fill, and then it kind of just builds on top of that. But the whole thing has such a groove to it that I just wanted that one fill, man. That one fill is so sick. But I just wanted to groove to it, so we just made it longer. I mean, we didn't really unpack it. And then Drew, you know, God bless Drew, our hero, our Lord and Savior. He, you know, he like kind of built it in by like just layering the different instrumentation in and messing with the arrangement a bit, and you know, turned it into what it is.
Yeah. So Daniel, what's your take on that outro? Because that's, from what I've heard so far. Again, I've only got 3 songs to kind of work with in a way, and makes me excited to hear the other. What'd you say? 9, 12 songs, 10 songs, 10 songs. Right. Okay. So the other 7. But Daniel, what's your thoughts on that outro?
Oh man, that's easily my favorite part of the song. I'm right there with Mitch, where whenever I listen to it, especially when it was just a rough with the instrumental at the end, without the vocals, I was bobbing my head as well. Yeah, but that part came together, as far as like drums go, it came together really organically. That groove I definitely pulled from actually Circus Survive, off of On Letting Go. I can't remember the name of the song, but
It almost sounds like I think I know what song you're talking about. Is it the difference between like Medicine and Poison or whatever, that intro?
Yeah, like when I was in middle school, that was probably my favorite record, and I thought that was like the coolest drum part ever. I remember bringing it to my drum teacher. I'm like, how do you do this? So yeah, but yeah, like I said, it came together really organically. I think I wrote that just the day of.
Like all that. What's that other circuit? Devin, you know that one? Do you listen to Juturna at all?
Yeah, I know more of kind of like their like Blue Sky Noise and some of the later stuff, but I do know. How did you pronounce that?
Juturna.
I never knew how to pronounce that, dude. Never.
I could be totally botching it. I don't know. That's just in my head. That's how it sounds. But there's that one song. What's that? That one song. It's just like, don't be alone now. It's like, it's fucking crazy, dude. That drum, that song is insane.
It's amazing where they've progressed to, and like even Anthony Green, because they're from like they're like a Philly band out this way, so they're huge in this area. And like last year, Anthony Green played in this little town in New Jersey that I used to live in, and I'm telling you, dude, just this small ass town. And I was so pissed because I wasn't in the area, but I'm like, I can't believe this guy is just like this is legendary right now. And
he's going off. He goes the fuck off, dude, during his shows, man. Oh my god.
Yo, listen to this. Juturna was an ancient Latin deity of fountains, who in some myths was turned by Jupiter into a water nymph and given by him a sacred well in like what?
That seems like it's totally on brand.
Dude, that's pretty crazy.
Right on brand.
That's some sick mythology.
And to incorporate that.
Do you believe in nymphs? Anybody?
Huge nymph guy.
Do you believe in nymphs?
Daniel, what do you think? Let's pass it to Daniel.
Daniel?
Give me 1 second.
Pro nymph.
He's like, Wyoming. But for real though, that's an amazing part of the song. And now compared to your guys' singles, like what's the rest of the album kind of it like? Can we expect kind of more in like, is there, what can we expect in a way?
Yeah, I mean,
a mix of like the in-betweens, like the vibey, groovy stuff, kind of like the San Francisco kind of like, I wouldn't say poppy, but just more upbeat in a way, What are your guys' thoughts on the rest of the record, the 7 songs?
I think that a lot of it is more along the lines of language and invisible thread, but it also branches. It's really cool when I listen to the record now because like most of the older songs are like first on the record, and then you watch it kind of like unfold a little bit, and towards the end we're like a little bit more folky in a way, where there's like banjo and there's like slide guitar, there's some pedal steel in there, and yeah, so I think it kind of unravels into some more folky stuff, but there's still a lot of slippery, guitar in there. So I think you can really see the progression of us kind of finding and dialing in our sound, which we're still doing because we're just kind of taking our first crack at this. So. And then the last song, Mitch's song, is like completely different than the rest of them in the best way. It's like 100% synth, like 80s Bruce Hornsby. Like,
It's insane. It's like Phil Collins.
Straight Phil Collins from Phil.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
solos and like.
Yeah, I think Drew like listened to In the Air Tonight like 10 times before we started. And he was lost.
He must have been in a weird because I wrote it on an acoustic guitar and then demoed it out on an acoustic guitar with my sister singing Anna's harmony, and then which she changed a lot, and so it's her harmony. And then we bring it to Drew. Right? And Drew like is like, I'm hearing something. And we're like, what are you hearing, dude? And then he buzzed out this synth, and then just everything started to kind of, snowball from there. And that was the craziest song. I mean, that was like the most collaborative song because it was stick and bones, and Connor was changing lyrics, Anna helped me change some lyrics, and like Daniel obviously like came in and wrote his drum part immediately, but his drum part was different because it was like layered with some drum pads and like some just some like VSTs that were written in, and so it was
You just kind of cut out there for a second, but that's like how do you guys find, like, even when you sit back and like you're messing with the song, because I've even found it before where like how do you know when a song is too far out, like, because there's when you could say like, does branching out like this, is it a good thing, does it work? Because I think it can go wrong in a way, especially in a whole piece of music, like an album, when it's like to have something so far out. So like for that song in particular, like what made it feel like it fit? And like, was that kind of like a big group effort where you're like, yeah, like you guys down for that? Like, do you think it works, or what do you think about that?
It's definitely like a spiraling out of control, like thought process you go through when you start thinking about like, is this too far out, which is something that everyone thinks about. I think about it. Mitch thinks about it. I'm sure Daniel thinks about it as well. You said you did. So it's definitely like kind of paralyzing when you start thinking that way. So I think I try as best I can to throw that idea out the window and just remind myself, like, as long as we have, Mitch, me, Anna, Daniel, like putting our own flavor on what the direction it's going, and there's still like, some little some of the lyrics are like very similar to the rest of the album, and this one was definitely the most far out, and that thought did come to mind, but I try to throw that away as fast as possible. And even in that song, we brought back Language, the lyrics from Language to the end of the last song, and so it really, there's no like fear that it doesn't fit in at all. I think it's perfect closer, and it kind of mixes everything together. It's like a big mixing bowl, honestly.
No, that's totally something that we talked about too. And it was, a big concern too was how weird is it to have the last song be kind of this climactic song, but then not have the guy who was singing the majority of the record singing the song. So we brought his vocal back in to try to like recreate that balance. So now then Connor and I are kind of like, it's like we're all singing on the song. It's all three of our voices, which I think is really cool because my voice never comes in other than there, but it still kind of like brings in the whole experience of the moment. And then that's also, that kind of decisiveness is definitely something that I admire, particularly in Connor's songwriting processes. I think that he's really, really good at like, at least what it looks like to me, working with him in the studio. I don't know what it looks like when he's on his own and freaking out, but when he's, with me, he seems very, very decisive. And so it's easy to kind of just be like, sit and just mull over these decisions that you have to make with the song and be like, does this fit with the rest of the record? But Connor's just like, no, let's just go for it, man. and we just do that. Or he's like, no, don't do that, and we don't do it. So yeah. He usually says yes, though. He usually says yes.
I think I'm extremely impulsive. This whole the whole reason we're here, I think
you are so impulsive.
I'm incredibly impulsive. So like when I got back from the Middle East and we're like, we're gonna go, I got this dude that did some records that I like as a kid. Drew Owens produced From Indian Lakes. I don't know if you've heard of that band or not.
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's a great band. You should check them out.
You should check him out.
What is it
so
called?
sick.
Riff.
Absent Sounds. That's
I'm
the
writing
record.
it down. What's the name of the band? From Indian Lakes.
From Indian Lakes, yeah. Like that's where they're from, and that's their band name.
The record's Absent Sounds. Start there.
Okay.
And then work backwards in time.
And your brother produced that record, Daniel?
Correct. Yeah, I think that was definitely one of his breakout records where he did their first 3 records and they just kind of kept getting bigger. And definitely, I agree, Mitch, like Absent Sounds is their best record.
How much do you trust your brother's like knowledge base, like production wise, like from yourself? Like, is it weird working like with your brother in a way, or like did you guys just like?
Not at all. No, I mean, I love getting to work with Drew. Like, I've learned so much from him, and I think we really bonded a lot when we first started getting to work together. And I've become kind of one of his like go-to guys for session drumming. So yeah, I love getting to work with him. We always have a good time.
I think too, just from being like outside looking in on watching Drew and Daniel like work, I think it's like really important for Drew that he can be super like honest with the drummer, and because it's his brother, like he has no problem saying, and Daniel has no problem hearing like, oh, that wasn't that sharp, which didn't happen often, but if it did, Drew could just like be straightforward, and Daniel would be like, yeah, no problem, got it, locked in. And most drummers, like Daniel's saying, so I hear, I've never really worked with any of the drummers, but they just like, they'll kind of overplay, or they're a little bit too loud, or like they don't really serve the song like Daniel said, and then it becomes kind of their own thing. So I think that dynamic helped like immensely.
And serving the song, that's such a good like point of reference to say like what serves the song best. And do you ever feel like a song like is asking you for something? Like any of you guys, like if you're playing something, like do you ever feel like, damn, like this song like wants something else? And like, I don't know, I feel like that journey is like so exciting when like you might have something and you're like, oh god damn, like what is it? Did your brother like help with that process, or Daniel's brother, or Drew I should say, like did Drew help in any of those moments where you found like he could kind of step in and be like, hey, it sounds like the last song he did, but did he help in that way with you guys at all?
He was a catalyst to it, though, like the main catalyst to that.
Definitely.
For sure. Yeah. When we went in, man, we like, I can't reiterate how little we knew about what we were doing. With like, we had no idea what was going on.
I gotta interrupt because like in a way for me, like honestly, like think about it. Like I'm going off, if you would have never said these things, I would have never guessed that, and that's what makes this so cool in a way to think, because, and it goes to show in a way that I think there is something to say about the way you can market your music as an independent artist, because I feel pretty confident in my knowledge base with music. Like I'm trying to do the same thing you guys are, getting original music out there, shit like that. I work with my brother, everything, researching YouTube videos, fucking whatever, of course, things you invest in to like look and be like, how do you do this? Because you said it like perfect earlier, like who do you look at and say like, this is successful? Like they did something, and I think there is blueprints for that in a way, to a blueprint that there's at least stuff to research and look into. But it's just like, it's funny hearing, like you say, like Mitch, like you're like, yeah, we knew little to, it was a discovery. From an outsider, it's like, that just goes to show to me that like, if you can present yourself the right way, there's going to be rewards, because the average listener, and the average listener is someone who's like discovering that they don't know. Like, I had no idea. I'm taking it that you like this. It's so tight, it's so well put together. And there's something to be said for that, in my opinion, especially now learning that it's like, hey, yeah, Daniel threw that all down on the spot. It's like, you don't say, like, what the hell are you guys capable of if you worked on a freaking, like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Oh, no, hopefully we find out soon.
Yeah.
We're getting better
I'm
from
confident
here, man.
in that. Genuinely, like, I'm genuinely confident in that, because for me as a listener, it's tough for me to like look at bands, and I found, like, I'm repeating myself, but found you on Instagram. It's very hard for me and a lot of people, because people say it all the time, like, oh yeah, you're trying to do like what so many people do. I just swipe through all that shit. But it's like, I saw the one post, like, promotion you guys have has like 70,000 views. And I'll tell you, one of those views led us to fucking right here. So it's like, you can't base a decision to try to manifest strategy because you think, 10,000 people might not look at it. But what if, 100 of them, what if one of them happened to be, I don't know, someone who's looking for an artist to go on tour? Just, you never know. And you guys are kind of proof to me personally. You did it to at least one person where it works. And like, I'm telling you, like, San Francisco has genuinely been on like repeat. Like, it's hit me in the feels at times. And I like, I'm serious, because like, it's the type of music like I want to listen to, but it has a different, like, it's not cookie cutter to me personally. Again, I'm speaking just from my perspective. Like, it's not cookie cutter in a genre that can be very cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And knowing now that it's like, it kind of came on as a journey and discovery for you guys, and like hearing that like drums were written on the spot, I can listen to these songs and hear maybe like a different way of spontaneity. But the amazing thing is even knowing that now, I don't think I'll ever be able to look at those songs and be like, oh yeah, like they were just trying shit out. It's like, nah, like it's like, I believe, like you were saying, you're going to find out. Yeah, of course you will, because it's good music and people find good music, and the ones that it might not, I don't know. I've heard it somewhere where people say like good music, like true good music will be found. And like, I'm happy, like, I found your guys' music, because it's like, it kind of like hits home, has tones that hit home. And like, hearing you just say like, yeah, we knew so little. It's like, what the hell you mean? Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, it's also, I mean, so yeah, we knew very little when we started, but this thing took us 2.5 years to record. So I was a completely different guy when we recorded Language than I was when we recorded, the end of San Francisco and Marceline, and Connor was different. Every single one of us was totally different.
So this process took 2.5 years.
Yeah. It was tough because, like I said, Anna and I were in the Navy, and it was just about to get out of the Navy, and it's really tough to get time off, and so we had to like line up these weekends, or like, Memorial Day, or like I had to take a week off of work somehow.
Yeah.
It took me like a month just to get it cleared. And then, text Mitch, make sure he can get it off. Is Daniel in town, or is he in Oregon? You know what I mean? Stay with the smallest population in America, by the way.
27th in the realest terms. Dude, I'm telling you, Daniel, one day someone's going to come up to you and they're going to be like, do you want a chance to win $1 million? You're like, yeah, sure. What is the 27th most populated state in America? And you're like, Jesus God almighty. Oregon.
Wyoming?
Fucking Oregon, bro.
It's halfway there.
For this moment.
Yeah, dude, 2.5 years. That's a lot of time, but like, how did you guys stay patient? And like, obviously there's something in each of you that had like trusting that process. That's a hard thing to do. I find that in myself getting started and getting things off the ground. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, how did you guys stay patient, trust, quote unquote, # trust the process? But you know, how did you guys do that? Because now you're here, it's unfolding, and I believe something's happening.
I mean, I don't think I could do it again. You know, like, I mean, no, I mean, I don't think I could do, like, I think now that I understand the process more, it would be hard to take that long, but I think we just loved going. I mean, like, we just loved going to Sacramento. For me, I just loved being in the studio, and then Drew became totally one of, you know, like, my best friends and one of our best friends, and
His family now.
and his family, like, we became close with his family. He had a new kid while we were throughout the 2.5 years that we knew him.
So you're an Uncle Daniel. Congratulations, dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I think it taking so
yeah.
long too, like, it really gave us time to reflect on those songs, because Drew would mix them over and over for us to hear, and we'd be like, okay, it is missing something, or no, it's good. And we'd be able to come back over and over again and, like, retouch on things. So even though it started off pretty spontaneous with a lot of things, you know, there was definitely those finishing touches that we had so much time to listen to over and over again.
Yeah, each time we came to the stew, we were like, we got like 10 ideas we want to try. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll it up. So that was a good part of the process. As much as it was kind of on the spot.
I was just so jacked to be there.
Yeah.
It's a different energy the moment you get into, like, a studio. Yeah. Like I said, I'm recording the podcast out of my parents' bathroom sometimes. We're recording our music out of my parents' bathroom because it's so goddamn quiet. But then the moment, and it's crazy, the drums in particular, right? When you hear drums in a studio over your music, and, like, you go to someone that knows what they're doing, and it sounds like Drew, or your brother, Dan, your brother, he sounds like he knows what he's doing. And when you can work with that and you hear your music for the first time, like, done professionally, you're like, what the hell is that?
I created that.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing, like, there's, like, a lot of people make good music, you know what I mean? But it's almost like nothing. You're just throwing shit at a wall unless you can pair up with, unless you know 100% what you're doing production wise. You need to find someone that, like, understands what you're trying to do and knows how to, like, execute the vision. Because, like, my shit would be voice memos in Mitch's 1999 Forerunner in Argentina forever if I didn't find, you know, Drew to, like, really inject life into all of it. You know what I mean? So that's probably the biggest thing, like, we've learned coming up is, like, production is extremely valuable and totally worth, you know, the investment if you really want, you know, the best quality. And that's kind of what we wanted to do. I don't think we thought we were going to market it. And I thought we were just going to make it because that's what we wanted to do. You know what I mean?
It was a passion project.
Yeah, huge labor of love. And, you know, when it was all done, we're like,
totally 100%.
Along the way, we're like, dude, we kind of, like, this thing deserves a shot. You know what I mean? We got to, like, research and figure it all out and ask people questions and figure out how to do it. So
I think it was really cool too that, like, Drew didn't just produce it, he helped us with anything we needed. He put ideas in, he knew what we wanted to create, he sang in some of the songs. Like, if we couldn't do it, he did it. Like, he made it happen for us. And I think that's really important as far as producers go, is that you're not just going and it's like straight business and what do you have, let's record it, that's it, here's your mix. And it's just a really great process to be able to work with the producer one-on-one who's had this experience with past bands.
Yeah, never had anything like it. I mean, me and Mitch had a band in high school, like he was saying, and we've been in studios before where, and this was my experience, is like you just go into the studio and the guy's like, all right, what do you got? You know what I mean? What's the tempo? What's the key? Let's lay it out. And we would do that, and he'd be like, cool, it's recorded. You know, I'm going to mix it. Or you're a little flat here, whatever, fix it. But, I mean, having an actual person who's invested in what you're doing and, like, really taking the time to think, you know, trying to even bring his own, you know, influences into it and really, like, collaborate with you on the most genuine level is extremely key to, like, getting that, you know, sound, I think. So.
Yeah. No, Drew's basically in the band. I mean, he's such a big part of the musical process for us, and was such a big part of coming up with the way that the songs are arranged, and taught us so much, throughout the process. Yeah, that was big.
Has he always been like that, Dan? Like, had a mind for music?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say everything he does, he really puts like 110% into it. Like every single project he's worked on, I've just seen him pour his heart into it. Even if he's not particularly like passionate about the kind of music, like that's just who he is. And he's actually told me several times, like working with Stablemate was one of his favorite bands he's ever worked with, which is pretty cool. And I'd say high praise.
Oh, dude, just rip my heart out, man. Play San Francisco.
Off their first record, Shapeless, this is San Francisco by Stablemate.
San Francisco, milk cigarette tongue, they're twisting their fingers inside of my lungs. What a curious thought to have your heart too far along. Heave it up with silver line, open your mouth, we'll pull that little miracle out. Recabilize my eyes, I requested in memory, cutting holes in our chests, connected together through an Ethernet. Sugar stain all upon my vein. Says you're talking so strange, but I don't wanna go searching. I still believe you're strapped to an anchor at the bottom of an over-swollen creek, hooking your jowl. Let's pull that little miracle out. Rememorize my eyes, and I requested in memory. We're cutting holes in our chests and taped it all together on a blank cassette. On a blank cassette, we've smoked our entire screen, but still I can never leave. Don't tell me what's happened before. Oh no, what's happening now?
you have no idea how intimidating it was to go into this guy's studio, man. Like,
Oh, so scary.
oh my god! It turns out it's just in his backyard, which was like a relief to me.
But still, like,
Yeah.
we drove there from San Diego the first time we went up, and I remember like getting out the car to meet him, and you go in thinking like this is gonna be like very straight to the point. Let's get to work, and then like Drew's like, do you guys want some coffee? I can make you guys some coffee. What kind of music do you listen to? Here's some YouTube videos we can watch. Like, let's pause, take a break, let's hang out. And
Yeah. He's a laid back guy.
and it
too.
made us feel good too when he was like, I don't do this with everyone, but you guys seem pretty cool. And I was like, oh, this is nice. You can relax, like, in this what could be a super stressful process. It was really fun. So I don't think we minded having to like go back over and over again.
Yeah. Ben, going into the studio too, we just got there, and he just recorded, I don't know if you know the band, Dance Gavin Dance.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so Dance Gavin Dance is coming fresh out of the stew, and up next is
The backyard stew, like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna get you coffee stew.
like they're coming in the RV to take a piss or whatever, and we're in there. Like, I was like,
Yeah, we got booted from some of our time.
yeah, we got Stablemate got pushed aside.
We took a boot one
Who do
day.
they think they are?
Yeah, we got
Well, they're
Stablemate
Dance
in the
Gavin
studio.
Dance.
Who do they? The nerve.
But bro, yeah,
Drew felt so bad.
going into the booth after like Dance Gavin Dance goes in, and I'm sitting there like, I'm just a fucking dude that just got back from the Middle
So,
East. Like, I have some,
Killian Pearson just breathed into this
Yeah.
microphone.
yeah,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna go ahead and lay down my little vocal track here. And Drew's like, nice, sounds good. I'm like, okay, all right. You know, I'm allowed to be in it.
But every musician thinks that way, you know. I think that's
Terrifying.
a natural thought. It is terrifying, but it's at the same. Again, you guys make different music than Dance Gavin Dance, but if it, I'm not saying it's a blow of smoke. Like, I love Dance Gavin Dance, dude. Like, I listened to Acceptance Speech, their one album, on repeat, like for 2018, 2017. That was like a album that I was like, God damn it! Like, they have a song, "Death of a Strawberry," that I'm like,
Yeah.
that's one of the few. Well, not one of the few, but that's one that I'm like, I could listen to this all fucking day, like literally all day.
Did Drew record those, Daniel? That album?
No.
That's like some newer stuff for sure. I don't know who. Did he do older or newer stuff with them?
He's done some
They were
newer
there
stuff.
2016, for sure.
I forget what that one record.
They did,
What is it
They
called?
did
No,
did Third Eye.
It was Semi-Charmed.
Semi-Charmed, yeah.
Semi-Charmed Kind of Life. That was like,
Semi-Charmed
that was
Life
that
cover.
day. They were doing Semi-Charmed Kind of Life. Yeah.
Third
And
Eye
remember we went
Blind?
into the stew.
Yeah.
No, they did a
Yeah.
cover of it.
At your brother's in your brother's backyard.
Correct.
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
there.
you can-
And then we went in after and we were like,
They told us to shut up.
Drew was like, we hate you, dude.
We went to Dance Gavin Dance to do a 90s cover and scream over it.
Pop goes
Drew
pop.
did Artificial Selection.
Funkos
That's the
Pop.
one he did.
That's the one. Yeah.
Really, dude? Wow. And Dan, were you like at the house, or were you just kind of like, when your brother tells you like, hey, I'm recording Dance Gavin Dance, is that like normal for you, or are you like, no way?
I guess when he first started getting some traction, it was like, holy shit, that's amazing. Now it's become, I mean, I tell him how proud I am of him all the time, but it's become somewhat normal. Like he's done several Billboard charting albums, and it's pretty awesome. So hopefully this one gets up there.
Yeah, I have some research to do. You know what I mean? Like, even I have some things to learn. Like, this is a new producer for me. Again, even you guys are our new band for me. Like, I'm only going off of some Instagram posts and like stuff like that. But it does. That's the thing. At the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter because like I'm like
They got you there.
yeah, but like I'm listening, and at the end of the day, it's so important. Like, that's kind of what it's what it's about, like you want people to hear the music and feel it. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I'm I'm more of like, you know, music that makes me feel something. That's where I'm like, shit.
Definitely, yeah, of course.
And your guys' music, like, it makes me feel something, you know. That's what I was saying before. Like, it hits home.
Yeah.
And each song like has that has something to offer, like emotionally. Like, do you know the band Turnover by any chance?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Daniel does, but I've heard people have like say that he sound a lot like Turnover, which is funny because I've never heard of them. But that man's awesome. I heard a little bit of them now, and they sound pretty dope, man. It's pretty tight.
Yeah, it's like, it's interesting. They have their albums have kind of been like, and to me, it's almost like they write in whatever they're feeling. Like they kind of were, not hardcore punk, but they were like heavy. And then their album Peripheral Vision, for example, that is, it might be if someone said to me, you can only bring one album with you for the rest of your life.
Wow.
I think that might be
That'd
it.
be the one.
And I'm almost 100% certain, like over so much music, dude. I mean, music that I've been listening to forever. Like,
I gotta go
like,
listen to this.
I know, that's serious.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Like,
It's a good record.
Like, seriously, like Dave Matthews is like my freaking hero, dude. Like Blink-182, like Untitled record. It's probably between like Blink's Untitled record and Peripheral Vision. But that's what I mean. Like, it's that whole album has a atmosphere and can make you feel something. And you guys are a little bit more on the dry spectrum when it comes to the tone. Peripheral Vision is a very like spacious, like very, like you'll listen to it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it. It's just, it's refreshing. Like I don't want to hear Turnover redone, you know. Like I want to hear something different, and you guys have that something that's different. What I'm trying to say is like it has like a cohesive feeling to it. There is a sound to it. In a way, dude, like your voice to me is not what I would expect in that type of style. And that's what makes it so cool. Like that's what makes it nice in a way. Cause it has kind of, I don't know. It's not like emo sounding music, like you said, like sad kid stuff. Cause like I write that type of stuff where I'd say like, yo, a lot of the music was influenced from like emo music, like, you know, Blink, Brand New,
Yeah.
you know, City and Color, like you said. And the vocals sit in the music differently than a lot of other styles that are in the type of genre that you guys make.
Mm-hmm.
And the coolest thing is hearing your guys' perspective on having a producer. Because, dude, producing is an art.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and producing is...
You got to find the right guy.
You're right. Dude, you're fucking right. And the thing is, too, it's like engineering. I always thought engineering and production were like the same thing. And as time went on, I realized that, like, seeing on records like who engineered it, and like I don't know if you guys ever look for that, but I'll look and be like, who produced this? Like, and then I think you get a gift in a Christmas fucking box when you find an engineer and who can produce amazingly, you know. And it sounds like that's what you guys had, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's one of the biggest things that you could do, or I would like recommend, is just like go to your favorite albums. So when, you know, Peripheral Vision, who produced that? There's always the, you know where the notes are, the liner notes, and just like hit them up. You know, they're real people looking for, you know, some work, and you can hit them up, and if it works out, you know, and you're meshing, then go for it, man. That's what we did. We just went for it. At first, of course, I had thoughts like I have no business, you know, going up in the studio and hopping behind the same mic as Tillian, you know, but or Joey Vanucci, you know, but at the end of the day, you just gotta, you know, it goes back to me being impulsive, I guess. I just kind of like said, we're doing this shit. We're doing it.
But sometimes, dude, it doesn't make me mad, but it's like, I don't look at that as impulsive, you know, like in a real sense. Right. But it's just, we do. And that's kind of the whole point of why I wanted to like bring bands on, is because it's not impulsive, dude. Like you're trusting like your skill set, and like the world sometimes wants to be like, oh, this impulsive motherfucker. It's like, nah, man, maybe this dude just like trusts his fucking skill set, you know, and like believes in that skill set. But that's a scary thing, dude.
It is terrifying
because people can be like, yo, that's impulsive. What are you doing? You know? And it's like, I give you guys a lot of credit and props for moving through with that, and knowing now that you guys were like, hey, we're kind of discovering this as we go. it is. It's exciting to hear. It's like, well, damn, like, hopefully these guys can take off. And then you wonder too, like some of the people that we've listened to or grew up listening to or these bands, it's like, do you ever think to yourself, like, or realize like, wow, they were in the same position I was in a way, you know? It's crazy.
100% they were, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's you know, it's just something that we love doing. So it's not, you know, it was impulsive to kind of to get into a studio and choose to do it there, and, you know, want a full 10-song album. And that, I think at the time, especially because we hadn't written a 10-song album, definitely felt a little bit impulsive. But
We'll write 10 songs.
well, we did it.
On the dot.
I'm glad you guys did. If that's the case, then I'm glad that you guys are impulsive people.
No, it's just, we just wanted to do it because we loved it. And like, that's how we feel about whatever it comes of. Like, I'm always going to be able to look at this album and be like, wow, you know, I was a part of something really special that I really like, no matter where it goes. And so, and it was such an incredibly rewarding experience in that. So yeah, it's, I don't think it's impulsive to just love making music.
Amen. I agree, bro. 110%. 110%. And that's what's cool to hear is you guys are doing it out of the love for it, you know. When do you guys have kind of like a rough idea of when you think you'll have it out?
Yeah.
Or is like a name, like, is that allowed to be said? I could edit it out. It's not a big deal. I don't care. But like, do you guys have like that stuff kind of figured out right now?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the rules of this shit. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but it's called Shapeless. I don't think we've said that anywhere.
It's called Shapeless. Comes out November 20th.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's just roll the whole thing. Let's go. Here's the album.
Yeah, play right
Dude,
now.
we'll send it to you, man. Like, you're good.
So November 20th, Shapeless. Hell yeah. Damn. All right.
Yep.
That's fucking awesome.
It's awesome. It's got some cool cover
Oh, yeah,
art.
dude.
I'm excited to roll it all
So
out.
stoked about the art.
Was this Elise? I was going to say, is this
Shout out Elise.
Yeah.
Elise? What
Elise.
is up?
Yeah. Her Instagram is Elise_outside. Elise outside.
Yeah.
So
She does
talented.
it all.
So we tried out multiple artists, like talked to multiple like people to do the video, and she just managed to be the perfect person to do both.
Yeah.
And absolutely, and we didn't give her anything to work with. Like we told her the colors that we like, and everything was really abstract, and somehow she just
did it.
nailed it. Just nailed it.
Yeah.
She should make like an alter ego page called like Elise Inside or something. And like, and just we'll see what it is. But that's the beauty. There's people out there that are just, you know, I always thought if there's someone that can, you know, replace hips, then there's someone that can make amazing art by saying, I like the color blue. And
Pretty much.
this is, yeah. And this is dreamy. And then next thing you know, you get this beautiful piece of art. You're like, huh, okay. Now I do see why people get paid a lot of money to do this, because
Yeah, not easy.
it's underappreciated
hard.
sometimes, dude, you know?
Yeah.
So hard.
But someone's got to do it.
I'd have no idea how to do it. I am not like an artistic person. I play music a lot, but like when it comes to like drawing and shit, dude, count me out, man. Like I can't do shit in that realm.
Yeah. Connor, can you see things in your mind? Like, can you like see a, like when you think about
Connor
something,
doesn't
is it,
even
like, when you
dream.
think in a-
Don't even bother
in a
that question.
picture?
No, it's empty.
Because I don't, dude. I don't
Dude,
at
it's
all.
empty up there, man. Like I've heard like these. I hear about these artists. I heard about these artists like John. Like, I think it's John Mayer and like Maggie Rogers and Billie Eilish. Like close their eyes and they see shapes when they hear a chord. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I like go back to my guitar, right? I close my eyes. I play a fucking G. Like nothing. Like this
But capo it up to 2 sparks.
triangles. Blue triangles.
Blue
everywhere.
triangles, exactly, dude.
No, I don't understand. I don't know what that shit is called. I forget. But
It has
if
a
it's
name.
real, cool. Big news if true. But I'm skeptical.
Yeah,
about
I
this.
think they're full of it, dude. I think they're full of ass. No way. Maybe.
I mean, they're all
don't
really
know.
good. So I mean, I believe it.
That's what they have in
Some,
common.
yeah, something
so-
seems to be working for
Yeah.
fucking my friend calls him Jackie Mayer. It's like something's working for Jackie Mayer.
Good old
over there. I don't
Jackie's
know.
seeing triangles. He's playing these chords. I don't know what's going on there.
He's so good at guitar. Oh my god.
I feel like when you get that big, you can just say shit like that. I think it's like a joke. Like you can just say shit. Like we should, if we win the lottery ticket and get, somewhat some traction, we should just start saying shit. Like Anna.
Like say shit now? Like you want to say shit right now?
Like
I'll say some stuff.
Yeah, like what is it? Yeah, what's your special ability?
Like I just feel like music to me, like most of this album in particular, I felt like I dreamt it, and then I was able to kind of hang on to those dreams and bring those dreams to the studio, and then you guys were able to sort of translate my dreams.
Yeah.
For me, because they come. It's not
really
like
funny that you say that, because now I was a bit timid to say it, but since Devin asked me what is language of the light, like I actually close my eyes and I see figures of light, and then it just manifests into a song. Like it just happens. Like I don't know what it is.
Right.
Did you get all that?
Connor speaks the language of the light.
He is. That is the skill.
He's fluent in the language
Kind
of
of
the
like
light.
Dothraki.
Who the hell is Dothraki?
Oh, you don't watch Dot?
Game of Thrones.
Dude, oh my god, I'm bad with that stuff.
Don't worry about it.
I have not seen. You can name. I'm swearing my life. You can name like 20 movies, like classic movies, and I have not seen them. Like haven't seen Game of Thrones. Haven't seen Breaking Bad. What else is there that's popular? Never saw.
You watch The
What are
Office?
some other?
Seen The Office?
Oh, dude, I've seen The Office like 5 times over.
Okay.
That's about it though.
Yeah. That I think that people who have a tendency to, not watch a lot of shows have seen The Office 5 times, like with an odd consistency. Like that happens a lot. I have another friend who's never watched shows, and he's seen The Office like 10 times.
Cries every time.
There's a lot of episodes too, and it's like, but yeah, like never seen The Sandlot. Never seen.
So Sandlot.
Never saw Sandlot.
That
Dude.
hurts.
Interview over.
I
Dude,
know.
that's a cultural event.
Nah,
I know,
we still love you, Devin, but that hurts. It stinks.
I know. Yeah, it's like, can you delete this, please? Don't post this. There's a.
Yeah, will you just bleep out the name of the movie that
We'll
you
fix
just
that
said?
in post.
Can you fix that in post?
We'll fix.
Because I don't want the people to know that about you.
Fix it in post, and then at the end, win
Titanic?
$100 if you can guess. Yeah, I have seen that. I have seen that. Yeah, I can't even think of movies, but I've done this with people where they're like, because I have a couple friends that are like big into movies, and they're like, oh, have you seen this? I'm like, nah. They're like, what? They're like, what about this? No, I haven't.
So are you the guy, like when someone, pulls off a quote and everyone laughs, you just like join the group and laugh and like, what the fuck is that guy saying? Yeah.
The thing is, I won't laugh though. It's more of just like, what are you talking about? Like, what is
all right, cool. At least you're candid with it.
It's good though.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like, I don't know. I'm not the type of person that'll just like laugh along and be like, hell yeah. It's more of just like look around like,
What am I missing?
what the hell? Yeah, what's happening right now? Like I never saw the Goonies. That's another one that some people have been like, how?
And did you even have a childhood, Devin?
Devin, what was going on? What were you
Yeah, what
doing
were you doing?
when you had substitute teachers in elementary school? What did they do in New Jersey? Other than watch the
Delaware.
Sandlot and the Goonies.
Delaware.
Yeah, I
Delaware.
would close my
New
eyes.
Jersey,
and-
they're putting on Titanic and Sandlot. I don't know what they're doing in Delaware.
Yeah. Like I just know that that's classic. But when I was a child, I would close my eyes and I would see colors as I played the guitar.
Yeah.
Like, I was in the pocket of a
If
kangaroo.
we ever get
writing music.
traction,
That's where it was. But
Hopping around the outback.
yeah, I was in the Outback and I was writing this song, and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude?"
In my mind.
Just watch Sandlot, man.
Yeah, I know. I would
I'm
do
just
that.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, but I really probably should.
You probably
It's
should.
like,
It's a good one.
yeah, it's what, like 2 hours for God's sakes. But if I promise by the next time, if you guys want to come back on
100%.
post album and everything, we'll do a review of the Sandlot.
Sounds good.
We'll
2 hours.
we'll be like, we're gonna go through every single scene here, and
that sounds perfect.
but yeah, thank you guys for doing this and taking the time.
We're not going to answer a question about the album until.
That's fair. Be like, yeah, so coming in for the second time around, The Sandlot has been watched. People are like, oh my God. But yeah, no, I need to, I'll watch it, but I am seriously like, thank you guys for taking this time and kind of sharing a little bit and, you know, get me up to speed with everything you guys are doing. And I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes peeled for everything you guys got going down. And like I said, share what you guys are trying to put out, because it's good stuff. So keep it going for sure.
I really appreciate that, Devin. And I know when we first started this process, all we ever wanted to fucking do was, you know, try and get one person to feel something, you know, get one person to really connect. And it's really cool to hear that that's happened, you know, for you, it seems like. So that's, you know, dream fulfilled right there, man. Everything else is a bonus.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of Catch My Riff. Dude, Stablemate is awesome. All those guys are awesome people. Funny as shit. And as I stated earlier in the episode, their new album and their first debut album will be released on November 27th on all major streaming platforms. You can find them on Instagram, on the internet. The internet's foolproof at this point. Okay, so you just gotta go online and search Stablemate Band. That's all you gotta type. Type that in Google and you'll have everything right at your fingertips. And on Instagram, their handle is @Stablemate. So if you enjoyed the music, like I said earlier, support them. Even if it's not Stablemate, go support your favorite artists, independent artists. Everything is this whole algorithm now, and everything's got this algorithm-based system, and every single like and every single stream and every single yada yada yada, it all helps them build a foundation and a platform to start so they can stand and support themselves as artists. So once again, big shout out to Stablemate for doing this. And if you enjoy these episodes and you have any sort of feedback, criticism, any sort of insight that you think could make these episodes better, message us on Instagram. And if you enjoy this, you can follow us on Instagram at Catch My Riff Podcast. We are on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. You can just search Catch My Riff Podcast to find our episodes. And our Instagram has a link tree that has all direct links to all of our social media. So once again, thank you for listening and stay safe.
On a blank cassette, we've smoked our entire screen, but still I can never leave. Don't tell me what's happened before. Oh no, what's happening now?